You're listening to Tehachapod with Key Budge, Corey Costello, and Greg Garrett.
It's Tehachapod time again, episode 101, Corey.
Yeah, 101. We got number 100 out, and like I said, we've lasted about 95 more episodes than I thought I would. Here we are.
I know. It is funny as we're heading to the final quarter of 2021. We've done a lot of communicating, and the show keeps growing. And every time we turn around, we're finding more interesting guests to talk to.
And then people requesting it as well. It's like become a part of like a normal request. Like, hey, I have something I'm doing in Tehachapi, or I want to do in Tehachapi. And it's like they're including Tehachapod in their sort of marketing plan. Like, I need to get on Tehachapod.
I got 2 requests today that came through Greg.
Yeah.
That they reached out. One being our California Highway Patrol.
Yeah, which is going to be a great show. When I heard him talk last time, I thought to myself, that's a podcast. And then he actually came and asked to be on the podcast. We didn't even bring it up to him yet. And
then Congressman Kevin McCarthy is scheduling his time and asked to come back on in October.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I think both of those are going to be great. And John Williams, California Highway Patrol, has got a lot of things to talk about. Some crazy stuff happening on 58 and 14. And, he's kind of wants to put an end to it. So it's going to be a great show. And he's a fantastic guy and a great leader at that Mojave substation. So can't wait to hear from him.
Yeah, I've known John for a long time, and that'll be another good conversation we have. Today, we're going to focus right here with our Civil Air Patrol, our Squadron 46 out of Tehachapi, and we're going to talk about a program that is growing rapidly this year. As COVID is really, I guess, put a dent on some things over the past year, participation, and now we're seeing something that's growing, and we're excited to invite in Lieutenant Ruben del Portillo. You are the squadron commander. Welcome to Tehachapod.
Well, thank you, Corey and Key, for having us here today.
And also joining is Travis Dalton. You're a parent and also a mentor, or you've taken a kind of an associate role in participating as an adult in the squadron. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Well, let's talk about the Civil Air Patrol. And I don't have a lot of background in Civil Air Patrol, but I do remember from my law enforcement days that if we were out and we needed help with something, maybe it was a large search, because I worked a lot of my years in the Antelope Valley, Civil Air Patrol was a resource for us. So, I remember that aspect, that sometimes some squadrons maybe could activate to assist on different things. I don't know that that's what Tehachapi is involved in, or if that's a goal for you guys. But let's talk about Civil Air Patrol and what you're able to do and what you're doing with our young minds that we have here in Tehachapi.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Bud, because just this past weekend, our cadets got to go down to Bakersfield and participate in some emergency services training. To be more precise, it's called urban direction finding, which is probably what you saw them do when you were in law enforcement in the Antelope Valley. We have missing aircraft, or for whatever reason the beacon goes off. Then the Air Force gives the order to the Civil Air Patrol, to the local unit or units, and then we go out and look for that beacon. So our cadets, starting at age 12, started getting to learn those tasks and how to use the equipment. So now, if their mission does come up, our cadets here in Tehachapi are trained to go on that mission.
That's fantastic. Starting at age 12 is what I picked up too. So 12 through what age?
12 through 18 years.
So you get junior high and high school kids that are able to, both male and female?
That is correct.
And they are able to participate in this auxiliary Air Force organization.
Yes.
And you guys are getting them training. And I see some of the photos that you share with us, and it looks like they're doing some fascinating stuff.
Well, we've also got some good partnerships with other agencies, such as the Sheriff's Department and Kern County Fire. Pretty much everybody. City of Tehachapi.
Yeah. You occupy our terminal and help keep it clean, and it's kind of it's something we don't have to pay for, and you all have a place to meet and kind of set up operations, and then the airport tenants are benefited by that. So no, it's a great partnership. I'm curious about. It seems like when we've talked a little bit about the type of cadets that you're receiving. I remember when I was growing up here, I had a few friends, and and teammates that were in Civil Air Patrol, and they were really their thought was military minded. They wanted to get into the Air Force or whatever it may be. It was kind of their sort of early program when it came to military. But it seems like now you still have some of that. However, given the aerospace sort of industry we now have in this area, you have a lot of student cadets that are interested in not necessarily just military, but aerospace in general. Is that true?
That is correct. So one of the things that was accomplished when Kern County came out with the Helicopter 408 the other day was that the cadets got to see another set of aerospace and search and rescue. So it's not all military. And there's opportunities in the fire department. There's opportunities flying a helicopter for multiple agencies. So there's a lot of different opportunities available to them in that field. And we're in a great place here in Tehachapi. We have so much activity here from not only the military, but the civilian businesses out in Mojave and around Edwards Air Force Base.
Travis, tell us a little bit about, your experience as a parent. What does it mean to you to have your kids involved in the program?
Well, we just moved here in February, so I had never heard of Civil Air Patrol from where I'm from. I'm from back east. I don't know. I don't know if the accent comes through.
No, I couldn't tell. I thought you moved up from Orange County.
So we got an email from the school, about Civil Air Patrol, and I asked my son. I said, "Would you like to go check it out? Because we're just brand new. He hasn't made any friends. School's out,
right?"
So he said, "Yeah, we'll go try it out." 30 minutes into the his first meeting, he comes to me and he says, "I don't know if this is for me." I said, "Well, let's finish out the meeting." And now you can't make him miss the meetings. He absolutely loves it. His confidence has improved. They teach him leadership skills, real world applications like how to write resumes. Is more than just the military aspect of it.
Whenever you're able to get kids together, and I say kids, but these are young adults that are, developing and figuring out where they want to go. And then when we put together the right mentors and the right structure, it gives them that, like you said, the confidence. It gives them those life skills. I remember as a parent, and my son's almost 30 now, but I look back, and especially in his teens, no matter what it would be, I'd be talking to him about it. It'd be like all he hears is just take out the trash. It wasn't whatever the principle or idea I was trying to get across. This ideal of communicating, it was like, "Dad, yeah, okay, we're good. Yeah, okay, you're just giving me a chore to do," and you're trying to give him a life lesson. So when you put them in a different atmosphere, they take in and absorb different things. So, so quickly that you say you notice that your son's the self-confidence, the leadership abilities, and those skills that are being shared.
So they can actually promote in ranks just like in the military. You can do it every 60 days, and so far he has got his rank every 60 days, and it's just a matter of wanting to succeed and being confident that he can. And then, like I said, the leadership skills are something that you can't underestimate, because you don't want to be a follower.
Right. Exactly right.
What are some of the initiatives that the Squadron 46 is sort of working on? I know with COVID-19, there was not a ton of meetings for a while, and then you all both kind of came in 2021. So what have been some of the new initiatives and things you all are working on to help build interest and involvement with the kids and even parents?
Well, like you said, COVID kind of killed us. We lost a lot of members because of COVID. Mm-hmm. Some people moved out of the area because of work and other things going on in their lives. And then some of the cadets just lost interest because they didn't want to meet virtually. They had 8 hours of being virtually
at
school. Yeah, and they didn't want to do any of that after school. So then things kind of opened up around the first of the year. I took command in February of this year. We had a meeting between the senior members and just wrote down some of our goals that we were thinking about. We actually got them on paper and had a conversation like we are here, and put some stuff together, and one of those goals was to meet with the folks at the junior high school, which I was able to do. And I met with Sharon Heitman when she was a principal there this past semester. And she really helped us a lot to grow our program by promoting Civil Air Patrol in the school. We got a lot of membership that way. And then just going out and knocking on doors and building relationships, and some of them were being rebuilt as well here in the community. You guys are proof of those relationships. They work.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up earlier the fire department piece, and so we had Deputy Chief Kennison was at Coffee with the Mayor, and he runs the air operations here out to Tehachapi Municipal Airport with Kern County Fire Department. And Ruben, you were there, and we were talking, and we got the connection made. And you guys, so now I understand you were able to actually have him, bring that helicopter over. You guys were able to go over to the hangar and check it out.
Actually, we didn't get to go to the hangar, but they brought it to our squadron.
Nice. Oh, even better.
And the helicopter crew was, nothing short of amazing. The cadets got to climb on board the helicopter. They took their time. They showed them the different equipment and how it's used, and got a great lesson on night vision goggles. And you should have seen the smile on the cadets' faces when they got to climb on the cockpit and, touch and feel the controls of the helicopter. I mean, it's just simply amazing. There's no words to describe it.
Yeah, no, that's great. And those are those partnerships. I mean, even like with Build a Plane, they're out there at the airport, a few hangars down,
That's right.
and so you guys were trying to sort of make that connection too, because there's quite a bit of interest going on with that program with our local high schoolers as they're getting ready to pretty much fly that plane here fairly soon. So a lot of connections to be made out there in the community.
Well, I want to thank you guys for that, for inviting me to Coffee with the Mayor. That was just amazing for us to meet some of the folks here in the community and build some more relationships and work together as a team.
Yeah, that's really what Coffee with the Mayor was designed for. I mean, one, it was to be approachable for if there was questions for the city, but it was also to make those connections. And if it's, Ruben and I, you and I got a chance to talk, previously, and then there's other people there, and then you start to make the connections, like with the fire department. It's like, you guys need to talk.
That's right.
Let's make that introduction, and then we had Brian from, like I said, Tehachapi Society of Pilots. Hey, let's make that connection, because it makes sense. We know these people, but then you guys were stronger when the community's stronger, and if Civil Air Patrol is able to grow and do exciting things, more kids are going to want to be involved. They hear they got to go around a helicopter. I've never been up in the front seats of a helicopter. I've been always relegated to the back.
Right.
But I've never got a chance to see the controls, or I bet that was just an amazing experience for these young guys.
Well, it is. And on the 9th of October, we're going to have an aircraft here in Tehachapi to take our cadets up in the air once again.
Nice.
We have a lot of new cadets. We started off with 3 cadets in the beginning of the year. We're up to 20 right now.
Nice.
That's great growth.
Yes, it is. So we're all excited. But not only do the cadets get to go up in the air, part of the relationship that we built with the junior high school here in town was that some of their teachers joined as aerospace education members.
Okay.
AEMs. So the 9th of October, we're looking forward to seeing those 6 teachers that signed up as AEMs. We want them to come out to the airport at 8 o'clock in the morning so they can go and have their airplane ride that was promised to them.
Nice. And that kind of goes back to that evolution thing I was talking about with the program. I mean, we have so much STEM education now because of the aerospace industry that has blossomed just to our east, and a lot of people who live in Tehachapi work in that industry. So it seems like, that's now to have a lot of high school curriculum based around STEM, and our STEM center we have at Tehachapi High School. And so there's a lot more of that in the market these days, isn't there?
There is. And the great thing about Civil Air Patrol is that whether you homeschool your children or they're in a charter school or public school, you have access to the STEM material that's Department of Education approved. So if you homeschool your children or they're in a charter school, you can sign up on the Civil Air Patrol website as an AEM, which is Aerospace Education Member. And then you would list yourself as a principal or the school, if you, again, homeschooling. And you have access for $35 for lifetime, one-time $35 fee for life. you have access to all the materials and curriculum that you can use at home. You can even order STEM kits, whether it's something robotics or that has to do with rocketry, and then you write a paper on it. Doesn't have to be a long paper, just something, your experience with it. Send it back to Civil Air Patrol, and then they will get you another STEM kit of your choice.
Nice. Travis, you'd mentioned that you actually joined as a senior member. Is that was that what you called it?
Well, I sort of got volunteered.
Voluntold. It happens all the time. Voluntold in Tehachapi is a regular thing. Yeah.
Very true.
Del Portillo, he was looking for help because he volunteers a lot of time. He puts a lot of effort into this. So I live out in Stallion Springs, so I was basically staying at the meetings anyway. So why not sign up and help out? So and it's like I said, it's a great opportunity. Talking about the getting the opportunity to fly in the airplanes. My son, he went to their what was called Encampment. It's a 1-week program where they go and experience. They stay in barracks and no communication from parents. They're completely, and he got to fly the airplane, and he talked about that constantly when he got back. He actually even got to take the controls, and that was really exciting for him. But he loved that, so he's looking forward to the next time he gets to go. But he's at the end of the line because he's already been.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's an experience, a life experience I've never had. Never been up in the air, get in the cockpit, let alone just visiting the helicopter on the tarmac.
Yeah.
I've never been in the cockpit and taking controls of a.
I had that
plane.
one time they were trying to promote just flying and just aviation in general, and so it was years ago when I was working at a radio station, and they said, "Hey, can you come and you can do a free lesson at Bakersfield Municipal Airport, not Meadowsfield, but the small muni over there off of Union in that area, and we'll have a pilot take you up, and you can kind of basically do a first lesson for free, and then just you can talk about your experience on the air." I was like, "Okay, no problem." And they did that. We took off and we got up there, and the pilot goes, "All right, great, airplane's yours." And of course he's sitting next to me, but and then he's kind of okay, do this and. It was really cool, to do that. I didn't have much experience, but we went through pre-flight checks and the fuel checks and everything that you do on the ground before you even get in the cockpit and take off. So it was kind of cool. So I can see how these kids are excited because I was an adult and I was excited when I did it. So I can see the kids getting really excited about it.
That's a cool life experience.
Well, again, on the 9th of October, the cadets are going to get to have that experience as well as the teachers. So
that's fantastic.
They're both going to get to fly the plane for a little bit and take control of that aircraft.
Yeah, and to have a resource like Tehachapi Municipal Airport to be able to meet out there and be around other folks in aviation and some companies and the fire department, and then have the ability to use the terminal for meetings and such. I mean, it's got to be a pretty good asset for your squadron to be pretty much on the tarmac and out there at the airport.
It's amazing, and if we keep growing the way that we are, we're going to outgrow that building here pretty soon.
It's a good problem to have, though. It really is.
It is. You should just see the cadets and the help that I get from the parents. It's just amazing.
How did you get involved? What got you to be in this this position as the commander of this squadron?
You want to hear what got me involved in Civil Air Patrol? What got me involved to be the commander?
A little bit of both. Yes, exactly. Both of them. We got time. It's a podcast. There's no time constraints.
Well, my background is in safety, and I was also a firefighter back in the Midwest. So I have a lot of experience with emergency services on, different side of it, of course. And when I was younger, I was also in ROTC in high school. So I've always, I've always been attracted to safety and emergency services, and I came out here and decided to join the squadron. And then moved up to Tehachapi, and during the process of my application going through, I had to transfer to Tehachapi, and they just welcomed me with open arms, and I was like, oh, wow, okay, it's a little smaller squadron, but okay, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
Then COVID hit. Put a damper on a lot of things. And fast forwarding to how I became the commander, well, we had an amazing commander here by the name of Sharon Eagle. And her husband ended up getting a job at SpaceX in Texas.
Okay.
Opportunity of a lifetime for him. And so we needed a commander. And they put the job out there, and nobody applied. And I was like, okay, what's going to happen to the squadron?
Yeah.
And they've already talking people above us about dismantling it, piecing it off to other squadrons. And I was like, well, that's not going to work. What's going to happen for the kids that are here that are in the squadron? And during that process, kept losing more members. So my command ceremony wasn't even a ceremony, if you want to call it that. It was just kind of done virtually on a computer. But I took command because I didn't want to see the squadron shut down. I think we're at a great location. I saw opportunity.
Yeah.
There's a need here to have the cadets trained in emergency services to look for those beacons, to work with the other emergency services groups. And I think that we're an asset to the community. And I just didn't want to see that go away.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's probably very few squadrons that have that access around them to be near, obviously, plenty of public safety, to be by a Navy test facility, an Air Force base, the ground floor of what's happening in the private space race, so to speak, right now. Right. I mean, there's no other squadron that probably has all that stuff happening around them.
Well, I don't know about the other squadrons, but we're keeping busy. So we're actively going on field trips. Right now we're planning stuff. We're going to be going out to the National Test Pilot School in Mojave here in October as well. I think that's going to be the following week after the flights, the 16th, if I'm not mistaken. And we're also throwing around other ideas. Once LA County lifts some of the COVID restrictions, we're planning on taking our cadets to the Museum of Science and Industry. We want to go out to Griffith Park. We're going to contact JPL and see if they'll host us. So we have a lot of things planned for the cadets. But like everything, it takes a little time. You have to do the paperwork, which is, I think I got pretty good at it now. I think I can knock it out like in less than 15 minutes now versus 2 hours when I started.
Well, how often does the squadron meet?
We meet every Tuesday at 5:30 at the airport.
So every Tuesday, that's the commitment for young people to get together.
Correct.
And then plus the special events that you're able to participate in, the field trips or in any other activities that might take place. I'm sure some of those are on the weekends, and that way some of the parents can be involved in that as well. I mean, and did I hear you're looking to continue to grow the squadron?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what are we looking at? So obviously 12 to 18.
12 to 18, their grades have to be good in school, of course, But we're also looking for senior members. Right now, with the squadron growing the way that it is, I need a lot of help. Because the more, how could I say it? As we grow, there's more paperwork involved. So our personnel and admin officer needs some help. Needs somebody to take over the transportation officer duties, things like that. So we could really help, use your help. If you're out there listening and you're retired or semi-retired and, you want to be part of the community and help do something valuable, come and talk to me. We have an open door policy. Come and check us out. There's nothing secret about what we do. We're here for you guys.
Awesome.
So that's every Tuesday at the Tehachapi Municipal Airport or at our terminal and at 5:30 p.m. So if anyone's, can they just come into a meeting or do they need to reach out if they're interested in joining, whether it's as a senior member or as a potential cadet?
They're welcome to come out. If they want to send me an email or call me, that's fine. My contact information is on our squadron webpage, which is ca425.ca.gov.
Right, and then you've also got the Facebook page, which is at Tehachapi Squadron 46.
That's true.
So you've got that as well. I noticed you got a lot of great posts on here. You guys are doing a great job of sending out the information, getting it out to the community, and I got to see the photo of the kids with the helicopter with the fire department, and those are the things when they get to see that they connect and go, hey, I know him. He's in my fourth period class. Why is he getting to be on a helicopter? And
That's true.
And they're in uniform. You start to see, some of the other testing and training that they're going through, and it's cool. Yeah. You guys are catching some very cool images.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And then you got press releases going out too, which I'm very proud to see that. That's,
it makes your job easier, Key, to share that kind of stuff when it's just, hey, it's already there's a press release, there's photos, and we can share it and other people can share it. It just makes it a lot easier than trying to piece it together, to promote. So that's awesome. What are the kids like? I mean, what have you seen, in the cadets that you have? What are some of their strengths and how proud you are of this squadron that you've been able to kind of piece together?
What I've seen is a lot of interest in STEM. Just amazing what some of these kids, sometimes they get to go up there and do some presentations themselves. Watching them grow, coming in, not having any confidence, and then you see them like a couple months later after they promote, they're out there marching with the rest of the flight, or they're in charge of a flight or a group of cadets. Just like Travis was saying, his son, his confidence level now is through the roof compared to when he started. And now he's in charge of an element, and an element is part of a flight. So in the Army, it's called a platoon. In the Air Force, it's called a flight. And he's responsible for an element of cadets, which is, I think, 3 or 4 cadets are in his element. So he makes sure that their uniforms are in order and their hair is in regulation and they're marching properly and they're doing everything that they're supposed to do, so then the whole unit looks good, not just one. It's all about unit and uniformity, and he's doing a great job. And so are the other element leaders and the flight sergeants. And so we always try to train you to do the next person's job down the line, because eventually that's going to be your job. And then once you get to that job, now you're learning the next person's job down the line. So it's a continuous cycle of mentoring them and teaching them and help guiding them and steering them in the right direction. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Well, Travis, what does it mean to you as a parent to have the Civil Air Patrol here in Tehachapi?
Well, it's a great resource. Like I said, I'd never heard of it before. Probably the closest thing we had back east was the Boy Scouts. But this is, in my opinion, well above what the Boy Scouts. I mean, not that, Boy Scouts are good, but the Civil Air Patrol, it's one of the best programs I think I've ever seen. And not only that, it's a safe program. They have things in place as far as for safety, and it's pretty impressive actually to watch these kids out there doing their drills and marching and everything that they go through. And one thing that my son really likes about it is they never do the same thing twice. They're always getting to do something different. You never hear him at the end of a meeting say, "Man, that was boring." Never. And you know how easily kids get bored nowadays. And there's no video games or nothing involved in this. He's always, after every meeting, and that was fun. Even on nights that they do PT, he's like, that was fun.
That's good.
That was one of the goals, Kate, was to mix it up and not do the same old. And when we do lessons or any type of presentation, to get the kids involved, have them present or make it hands-on, and just constantly mix it up.
Anything available for kids in that age range that involves just getting out of the house, whether it is Civil Air Patrol, organized sports, club activities.
That's right.
anything, as Travis pointed out, that doesn't involve a video game, because there's certainly a place for that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it just can't consume your entire life. I think during COVID, that became a lot of kids' lives. You know, it was on-screen school, and then basically the only socialization they had with their friends was playing video games online, right? And so I think any type of activity, especially one that's as organized as this, to help get kids out of the house, get them socializing, get them some life skills, are super important. So thank you for, you guys both for helping this move this along.
And you guys have helped us out. On June 15th, when California reopened and we could celebrate small business again and the economy growing, you guys had reached out and said, hey, what do you think about having, was it the color guard?
The color guard, yeah.
The color guard present colors at the beginning. I go, oh my God, yes.
I might have another job for you on that, by the way.
We'll take it.
Okay, I got something for you. We can talk after the podcast. I got a good opportunity.
But that group of young people presenting colors, it meant something to all of those. We had a couple hundred people there in attendance.
I remember that.
And it was fantastic. It's one of those, it's like, that's the way we should start things. The presentation of colors, the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we were able to have our ceremony, and we opened with a prayer, and it was, I don't know, I guess I just love Tehachapi because we haven't pushed away some of our fundamental things that makes America what it is. Mm-hmm. And part of it was you guys reaching out and saying, hey, we've got a group of young people here at Civil Air Patrol that would, love to do this. Would you be willing to let us? Like, are you kidding me? I wish I would have thought of it, but thank you. And make sure you tell all the cadets, we do appreciate it.
I'm sure they know. We had a great color guard person that, because of work, she had to kind of take a step back. But that was Shannon Loftus, and she did an amazing job with these cadets. And, well, there you have it. The proof is in the pudding, right? Mm-hmm. You guys seen it, and she just did such an amazing job. So
excellent. So as far as, where we're at, where we're growing and going, do you have any other goals besides, adding, the additional mentors and the future cadets? Is there something that, whether it's where this squadron would like to eventually evolve to, or what's the future journey for Squadron 46?
Well, I'm going to start out by, and we talked about this with some of the senior members already, kind of put out like a little survey and see what the cadets want to do. I'd like to see the emergency services part of it grow. But to be honest, not everybody wants to go and hike on the side of a mountain looking for a beacon. Yeah. Some people want to operate the radios and be at the mission base. Some people might want to do logistics. We have a cadet that's up and coming, and he wants to do safety, which I'm like, oh, that's great, because I have a huge safety background with OSHA and all. That's awesome. So we have different opportunities for them. So it's just finding out, who wants to do what. We're going to schedule the training. We are going to have some training coming up with the radios to kind of put all the pieces together, because we want to show them that when you do a mission, there's a lot of pieces involved. It's not just the guys that go out there and do the finding. There's a lot of moving pieces to make it work. So that's one of the goals. The other goal is to build relationships, continue on that with the junior high school. There was a changing of the guard recently, so I haven't had a chance to meet with the new principal. I'm looking forward to that. Maybe with some folks at the high school if they're open to it, and as well as the charter schools, and try to get some more aerospace members involved, because the curriculum that we have, for $35 for a lifetime to have access to that website and get free STEM kits available to you, you can't beat that. If you go out and try to buy a STEM kit on your own, you're looking at a few $100s. So they're expensive. And right now, with the crunch with schools and everything, we need them and they need us. So that's another goal. And whatever you guys need in the city, we're here. If you guys have a cleanup or something, our cadets can use some volunteer hours outside of Civil Air Patrol. Plus, they get a little bling for their uniform after 60 hours. They get a little community service ribbon, and then you can add to it. There's little clusters and things like that for every 60 hours. So it's just a win-win situation, and we just want to continue being part of this community and serve you guys.
Awesome.
Have you guys done any work or connected with CERT, civilian emergency response team?
Not yet.
Okay, I'll introduce you to David. And then how about with the Tehachapi Amateur Radio Association?
We have a member that I believe is part of that.
Great.
His name is Garrick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's all you need to know. Carl's the only guy you need to know.
If you know Carl knows everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh.
Carl is a founding member of our squadron.
I'm not surprised.
And he is Major Garrick to us.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Major Garrick.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, next time
I might see him here at the farmer's market in a little bit.
That's
He's
true,
always
he
kind
will.
of hanging around. I might just call
will.
him Major.
Just make sure you salute him, okay?
Yeah. Fat chance.
But as soon as you mentioned about the radios and the emergency, those two organizations popped into mind as would be good training, meet,
Absolutely.
kind of things for the cadets.
I agree.
That's pretty cool. Well, good deal. Anything else that you guys want that we didn't talk about that you think would be important to get out to the parents, or if there's any kids listening?
I would probably have to say one thing if anyone's considering joining, it's more than just a military opportunities. Sure, it's a great springboard if you're planning on going to a military career, but there's more life lessons involved that pertains to more than just military.
The perfect comment you can get from a parent, that if that's what you've seen and you've been a part of the group since February, is that what you said?
Well, we moved here in February. He joined, I think, in May.
Mm-hmm. So in less than 6 months, your takeaway is that this is much bigger than what some people kind of put it in a box. The life lessons that these kids are taking away.
Yeah, a lot of the people that came, I always try to talk to the parents, and their impression is, well, I don't know if he's going to go into the military. And I said, well, that don't really matter because you don't have to go into the military.
You don't.
Right.
This is just a great opportunity to help them, learn skills, that are helpful no matter what you're going to do.
Now, what is the affiliation to the Air Force? It's listed as the Air Force Auxiliary. So is this under the umbrella? The Air Force looks out to help and mentor young, or do they sponsor, or is there an affiliation officially that?
The only affiliation is really we're the auxiliary, so we're a 501 C3. We are headquartered at Maxwell Air Force Base, which, by the way, if nobody knows where that is, that I believe that's in is it Alabama?
Oh, you're asking me?
Anyway, but a lot of the curriculum for the United States Air Force, that's where it comes from. Mm-hmm. So we get our curriculum from a lot of the same people when we do our training. So it's top notch. I mean, this curriculum goes out to all the air bases, air college, and so on, and even the Air Force Academy.
What a great opportunity!
So,
yeah.
But Travis, I'd like for you to share your experience with Key and all our listeners about when you sat down for that review board. I think that's something that should be shared.
Yeah, when the cadets are doing their promotions, they get a review board, and you ask, there's three of us. We ask them questions, and their answers are pretty impressive. I was really impressed with when we ask them questions, and it's hard questions too. It's not just what day is it, and like I said, their answers are really impressive. I can tell, and then as they progress, they get harder questions and better answers. So preparing them basically for interviews,
right?
You ask them the tough questions, and they can answer them on the fly, and it doesn't have to be the right answer. Sometimes there is no right or wrong answer.
That's right.
So, like I said, I was really impressed with the answers that that they're given during those interviews.
They're formulating thoughts and articulating those thoughts, and I think that is a life skill. I mean, Corey and I have been able to that's been part of our careers, but to learn it.
But
between
just like
12
that,
and 18,
I had to learn it.
I wasn't there.
Right, but it's one of the things you have to learn, and you need people to help teach you. And I think to your point, I mean, there's every young generation always gets a bad rap, right? No matter
Right.
in the history of time, it's always been this generation is ruining the world, right? Every generation, and I had someone say this years ago, and I usually apply it now when people talk about kids. It's like, the kids aren't any worse. It's just, the kids just now these days they have cell phones, right? I mean, there's no difference between the last generation except they have more technology, and so there's plenty of brilliance out there when you talk to some of these kids and they give answers at review boards, and you're like, yeah, I think we're going to be just fine as a society because we have plenty more of these kids out there doing these types of things. So it is reassuring, definitely, and to hear these things, I'm sure.
Well, the review board is pretty much almost the same as when they interview for a job at the Squadron. Say somebody wants to do photography, they have to turn in a resume, they do a cover letter. Review board, they don't have to do that, but you sit in front of a panel of like 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
And the same thing when you apply for a Squadron job. So a lot of jobs, traditionally, when you go to a job interview, it's only one person behind on the other side of the desk. But here, you're getting a panel of people interviewing you, and everybody's asking you questions. So we take it up a notch.
I love that.
That's cool.
I love that. What great takeaways they're getting. I mean, that's, just to enhance them. I'd be fascinated to hear a teacher's perspective that might have some cadets in their classes, if they've seen, increased, participation in class activity or things like that, or they, if you're seeing it at home in the confidence level and they're being able to articulate their thoughts. I wonder if that's translating, into in other aspects.
I know I had a kid that I went to high school with, played a little football with as well. He was very involved in the Civil Air Patrol. Matter of fact, I think he ran the thing for a while by the time he was a senior. And, he was, really, to use a military term in terms of life, he was pretty squared away. And so we literally called him Sarge on campus because that was him, and like we knew we could trust him. We knew he was a go-to guy for things. And, even on the football field, like he was, he was Sarge. That's because we knew he was his involvement and his, he eventually went on to have a career in the military after Civil Air Patrol. So,
and we got about 5 or 6 cadets that are currently attending Jacobson Middle School. So that might be something that, you could reach out to them. And
yeah, I mean,
I'm curious to find out too.
Between the ages of 12 and 18, we're looking for additional, kids that would be interested in at least exploring and taking the opportunity as your son did, Travis, and he checked it out. You said, just stick it out and see what one of these meetings is like. And now he's all in.
Yeah.
That's what a testament it is to what you're doing there, Ruben. That's great. And then to bring in parents like Travis to come in and help, and you need a few more.
I do. And we couldn't have done it not only without the help of the senior members, but our senior cadets and their leadership and helping to mentor the new cadets. And, they've really, really stepped it up. So my hat's off to our senior cadets for, mentoring the junior cadets and teaching them to be leaders and giving them that confidence that they need.
All right. Well, if you're interested, if any of this conversation has sparked an interest for you or maybe a loved one, one of your kids, or you just say, hey, I've got the experience, I can help out. Stop by on a Tuesday at 5:30 Tehachapi Municipal Airport to the terminal, and that's off of Avenue J, or is that J Street?
J Street.
There's a parking lot.
A little parking lot there off by the J Street gate off to your left. There's a parking area, and then you'll sort of see the little house building terminal. It's kind of like Bryan Court, I think technically is the address of it, but you can't miss it off the J Street gate just to the left, and there's pedestrian access through the gate right there.
And then you can also go to Facebook at Tehachapi Squadron 46, and then you can also Google Tehachapi Civil Air Patrol,
Correct.
And then it'll take you, your webpage is right there.
That's right there.
And it's easy enough, and you can get a hold of Ruben or Lieutenant Del Portillo and the squadron commander, and ask some questions or explore it. I think it sounds like a great opportunity for those that go, hey, I like the sound of that. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here. We really appreciate you coming in and sharing this. This is another one of, I don't know, had we not, and perhaps this conversation wouldn't have taken place had it not been for the color guard coming out, because that started the interaction. And that was right. And those are one of those things where it's like, I hadn't thought about it.
Well, and that goes back to what Ruben had pointed out about the coffee with the mayor. When we started the event, it really was hey, bring your concerns to the city. And in a more casual setting, it's not a council meeting. You don't have to come to City Hall, and we can chat about it over coffee. It quickly evolved into what really it's become, which is, hey, if you want to make a connection to either the city or we have these other resources and people that we can connect people with, whether interests you have, group, club, activity, business, it's a really good kind of facilitators meeting that's turned into. So
yeah. So and Coffee with the Mayor, if you're interested in that, that's the third Thursday every month, 7:30 to 9:30 over at the Coffee Mill, which will soon be
Cayman's Cafe.
Cayman's Cafe.
No changes, just a name change, effectively.
Right,
so, yeah.
Under the new ownership. So, we'd love to see you out there. If you've got a question regarding anything we've talked about, you can send it to us, and we'll get it to Ruben and his team. And that's at media@TehachapiCityHall.com. We're happy to share whatever information, get it to Ruben, and then that way we can put you guys in contact. As a matter of fact, when Ruben came in, I had already shared his information with Sandy Chavez at Salvation Army, because I thought Sandy was talking about some programs coming up. I thought there was a collaboration in the making there between what you mentioned, your kids looking for other volunteer opportunities and things that they have coming up. So I think you might see, Squadron 46 and the Salvation Army, doing some things here in the holiday time. So, Corey, what do you think? We got anything else that we want to talk about? We've got, a lot of things have been happening. We've got some new roads that are being laid down as we speak.
Yeah, we've been doing that all day long. There's been things happening, Public Works and contractors and Green Street, Davis, Snyder, all getting pavement. So I'm not quite as geeked out about it as Greg is. He's super excited out there. I love this. This is so cool. New roads, new pavement. But it's very much needed. So that's been a project. Continue to work on that. And events wise, I think folks will probably talk about it more. But Trunk or Treat is returning. The Tehachapi Police Foundation will be hosting that, and that'll be a little different this year. Be on F Street, so more space. So between Robinson and Curry, F will be closed off for Trunk or Treat on Halloween. So more details coming on that. But I just want to throw that out there.
And so when you're heading out to the airport, just so you know, Ruben, there will be new asphalt for the next meeting.
Oh, wow.
So it'll be done all the way up there to the gates.
To the gate on Green Street.
Yeah, yep. So it'll be a nice, smooth, brand new asphalt as we continue to maintain our infrastructure, here in Tehachapi.
Is it wide enough to do donuts or?
No.
Let the pavement set a little longer before you do donuts. I don't want to go out there and have it redone anytime soon.
I don't want to get a call from the chief saying, "What are you guys promoting on your podcast?" So,
it will be fast. So slow down, don't go fast, but it'll be really fast.
So there you go, folks. We've had Travis Dalton, a parent of one of the cadets. He's also a senior member of the staff for Civil Air Patrol, Lieutenant Ruben Del Portillo, the commander of Squadron 46. Thank you for everything you've done here in such a short period of time to energize the program and give something for these young people, to do and look forward to and to grow as young adults. So, congratulations on that already.
Thank you. And you're very welcome. And I couldn't have done it without the help and support of the community.
There you go. It's a collaborative effort as we work together.
It is. It definitely is.
So as we wrap up our 101st episode, I won't say that every time. I won't give you the episode number every time. We just thought we'd throw it out there. Of Tehachapod, we appreciate the time that you invest with us. Hopefully the conversations have some meaning and you're able to pull something out of it or share with somebody. That's the goal here at Tehachapod. We appreciate your time, and we'll catch you again soon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Tehachapod is a conversation about Tehachapi designed for the people who live here or who would like to know more about this mountaintop community. If you have a question you would like answered, email media@TehachapiCityHall.com. We will try to answer it on a future episode of Tehachapod.